Deadpool has a big role to play in the post-Secret Wars MCU, and I know exactly what that role will be. Hey everybody, Colton here, and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is sure to have a big role in Avengers Secret Wars, and I'm hoping the rumors are true about him being in Avengers Doomsday. But the question then becomes, what's next? Today's Ask Colton question comes to us from Alex. Alex writes, "Hey Colton, I saw this quote from Ryan Reynolds about how he's working on the script for a new Deadpool movie, but that he is no longer going to be the solo star. What does this mean for the future of the character in the MCU? Are we finally getting X-Force?" All right, thanks so much for the question, Alex. So yes, we got this new quote from Ryan Reynolds about the new Deadpool film that he has in the works. This report comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Following Deadpool and Wolverine's $1.3 billion success in 2024, we'd expect a follow-up to receive the green light almost immediately. Then, last May, we learned that Ryan Reynolds was in the early stages of writing a new Deadpool movie featuring the Merc with a Mouth and 3 or 4 X-Men characters. Separate from Drake Schreier's X-Men reboot, Reynolds was said to be working independently of the studio, meaning it hadn't been officially greenlit. The trades then broke the news about Reynolds' plans, and social media scoopers later claimed to have learned that this is an X-Force movie, or at the very least, an X-Force inspired movie. We haven't heard much since then, but the writer and actor shared a positive update while speaking with Today. Reynolds said, "I have some stuff kind of written confirming that Deadpool will be taking a back seat if and when the project happens." He continued, "I think he's a supporting character. He's a guy that is great in a group." This echoes other remarks from the Deadpool franchise star, and it seems this idea is for it to be an ensemble rather than a full-blown solo outing. Okay, I'm about to get up and run around this room, take my victory lap, because yes, this is what I've been saying for like more than a year now. One, of course there's going to be more Ryan Reynolds Deadpool after Avengers Secret Wars. This idea that some have had that he would retire from the role of Deadpool after Secret Wars and going into this new reboot, it's just asinine. And two, I've touched on the fact many times over on Screen Crush that Deadpool and Wolverine, that's an R-rated film, by the way, and it made $1.3 billion at the box office. You do a fucking sequel. And if Hugh Jackman is down, if he wants to do it, you put him in as Wolverine as well. I know we're rebooting and getting a whole new team of X-Men, but we also know pieces of the old universe will remain after that big reset. And I think the new X-Men team would benefit from not having a Wolverine on the team and letting some of the other characters get some breathing room. And if they do have a Wolverine on the team, I'd want it to be Laura, Wolverine's daughter, played by Daphne Keane. Granted, she might actually be an even better fit for like a Young Avengers Champions style team. Anyway, we're entering what will likely be called the Mutant Saga, and I think Marvel would be refusing a license to print money if you didn't make some more Deadpool movies with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine if he's interested. I think you have them over there in their own little corner of the MCU, using foul language, making crude jokes, and running missions all around the globe. I want to see them like in the jungle, man. And with Deadpool being a meta character who can break the fourth wall, that's the perfect place to be able to have Hugh Jackman still exist as Wolverine. Plus, the two are just great together. Now, personally, I would love if they did give us a proper Deadpool 3. Deadpool and Wolverine, I like that movie, but it is very disjointed from those first two films, and it completely abandoned the main cast. I want to see Colossus, Negasonic, Dopinder, Vanessa, Domino, Peter, Fire Fist, bring back Cable. And that could be a Deadpool 3, or with what Reynolds is saying here, it might actually be more of an X-Force movie, which if you think about it, is what Deadpool 2 was setting up. So I think an X-Force movie would feel even more like a true Deadpool 3 than Deadpool and Wolverine did. And it can still have that same feel and tone that those first two Deadpool movies have, and bring back those characters, throw Wolverine in the mix, bring in more obscure mutants. Hell, make Bullseye a fucking mutant and have him on their team. I think he would fit in great over there. And hell, if you want it to tie in to like the greater MCU and like the story that they're building toward with, you know, going into the end of the Mutant Saga, whatever they have planned for that, have this like Task Force X or X-Force or whatever you want to call it, working for the same woman who technically runs the Avengers right now, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. But this X-Force team, it is willing to do like the more unsavory, dirty jobs that a team like, the Avengers wouldn't want to do. I'm talking about like underground missions that, she initially used the Thunderbolts to do, albeit when they were individual mercenaries. And we have to remember that Deadpool and hell, if they bring in Bullseye and just a lot of these characters that you would find on X-Force, they do have a mercenary past. So I don't think you make X-Force villains, but kind of in that Suicide Squad area, you have them be this grittier team that consists of anti-heroes. And hell, there's still some story to tell there with Valentina and how that's all going to shake out with her ownership, essentially, of the New Avengers. And I would assume that after Doomsday and Secret Wars, we'll get back to that. They'll pick back up on that thread and continue it. And you could have a great mutant-centric story where Deadpool and Wolverine and the other X-Force members, they're on a mission and they find out that they're being hired to do something that they're against, and they go rogue and they save this poor mutant that's being experimented on, or some shit like that. Have it be that character from Civil War II, the comic that I believe in, that he was an Inhuman, but make him a mutant instead. That character was able to see the future. So you could see where Valentina perhaps would really want that mutant. So maybe we learn that she presented this whole mission as a rescue mission to save this poor mutant, but actually she just has plans for him, to use his power so that she can better dominate the world. And you could even have that character then continue into a MCU Civil War II movie. In the comics, that's where we see Captain Marvel and Iron Man fighting it out because Captain Marvel wants to use this guy's power to stop crimes before they happened, while Tony took the approach of, I thought the punishment came after the crime. And there's a lot of cool, interweaving that they could do by having this same mutant kind of show up in these different movies and have different mutants serve as villains for like Avengers films or Fantastic Four films. Fantastic Four films could have, Franklin be revealed as a mutant and go to Xavier's school. There's so much interweaving they can do here while simultaneously letting these movies still be their own thing. This is what the MCU used to do really well, and I hope we get back to that with the Mutant Saga. And, I've seen some theorize that maybe, this idea of Deadpool being on a team is a hint that he'll be on the Avengers or like a West Coast Avengers, or maybe on the New Avengers, which consist of primarily Thunderbolts characters. I don't think so. I think the Avengers movies are going to be like Sam, Yelena, Ant-Man, maybe She-Hulk, Shang-Chi, Ghost. I think it's going to be a hybrid of the two Avengers teams that we're going to see in Doomsday. And I don't think Deadpool is part of that. I also don't think that he's on the X-Men team. I think that he is the lead in his own team movie. And I've talked a lot about how I think this new era of the MCU, post-Secret Wars, it will be the team movie era. Gone will be the days of solo hero films, and instead we'll have team films that lead to big culmination events at the end of the saga where all of these teams come together. So we'll have like Fantastic Four, X-Men, lower stakes Avengers movies that aren't saga cappers, maybe Midnight Suns or Defenders in the TV realm, and then we can have an X-Force team led by Deadpool, or at least the movie stars Deadpool, and maybe a different character is technically the team leader. I think that's what we've got in store. Team dynamics, quipping, and drama between different characters, storylines with layers and character threads that we can follow for years and interweave throughout different projects. There are so many characters now in the MCU, and we have seen the MCU grow so much that I just don't think there's room for the solo hero movie anymore. I don't think it'll be that way forever, but I think that right now, Marvel is discovering that what the fans want right now out of a Marvel movie is that team aspect, the crossing over of their favorite characters. When they do solo films of these heroes that lead up to a crossover movie each phase, many fans and general audience members kind of find themselves wondering, well, hey, where's that other guy? I want to see them together. And when you do these huge movies like Doomsday and Secret Wars, and then you just do a Captain America, and I don't mean to say just a Captain America or just a Thor movie, but it does kind of leave you wanting more because you've already been given that huge thing. And I'm not saying every movie needs to be this huge event film, it does not, but I do think that you have multiple characters, big characters in these movies together as an ensemble cast, because solo movies, they have a supporting cast anyway. They just tend to be characters who get sidelined when the hero goes and joins the team movie. So what if instead we just did team movie ensemble cast movies where we have all of these big names together in each movie, different groups of big names, and have the supporting cast not just be some random characters that we only ever see in that solo characters movie that we get every 4 or 5 years and don't hear from in the big culmination events in between. I think if you have all these same characters, like these big names serving as not only the leads but the supporting cast as well, instead of filling the solo movies supporting cast with just random characters that showed up in like, oh, this issue number 42 of this title. Instead, fill the cast with your valuable and beloved IP, characters that your audience already enjoys seeing together. And then your big crossovers can be seeing these teams together for the Saga Capper event films and seeing, different characters interact there that we haven't seen interact in a while, having each team's like lead characters work together. That's what you can get for the big cappers. And then for the other films that lead up to those moments, those can still have that crossover vibe. And yeah, I think that's the best place for Deadpool. Have him among other R-rated style characters, have them going on missions in the jungle, and hell, send them to Amsterdam, wherever, and just let Deadpool be Deadpool. All right, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. I'll see you guys next time. I've been Colton Ogburn. Bye!